Welcome to Learn Yourself. Today we are going to learn and understand chapter 30, that is why do we fall ill. This is under CBSE Standard 9 syllabus. Topic or the question what we are discussing under this chapter is why is a cell a basic unit of organisms, and can one cell's function affect other cells of the body? So here we all know what is a cell and how cell is performing any particular task and how cell is doing all the metabolic process. So under this there are 4 points which will tell us that is cell really a basic unit of organism, or if one cell is not performing well, then will it affect the other functions of the cell or other parts of the body? So let us understand this with the 4 points. So first is cells are made up of variety of chemical substances like proteins, carbohydrates, fats, lipids and so on. And here they are saying that cell is a dynamic place. What is the meaning of dynamic place? Dynamic place means one or the other activity is continuously happening within the cell. Either it is a metabolic process or some substance formation or any exchange of the material, anything is continuously happening within the cell, and that's why they are saying that cell is a dynamic place. Second is activities, complex reaction and repair goes on inside the cell. So these are some of the important activities which cells are performing. Activities means some manufacturing of the substance or exchange of the substance, some complex reactions, some formation of the substance, and repairing work. Repairing work means any dead cells are there, then new cells will be generated at the place of dead cell and so on. So all these activities are happening within the cell. But all these activities are interconnected. All these activities are interconnected means some cells are performing respiration work, some cells are performing digestion work. Now, if digestion is not happening properly, then it is definitely going to affect other parts of the body and it will restrict the function of the body parts. Similarly, if respiratory system is not working properly or the cells which are there in the respiratory organs, they are not working properly, then definitely it is going to affect the other parts of the body because all the cells are interconnected. Our body is one, but the cells are different, they are performing different functions and all these are interconnected. If one of the cells remain in kidneys are not performing well, then it will affect the brain function and other blood circulation. So if one type of cells or the cells which are remain in one organ are not performing well, it is definitely going to affect the other cells or the other parts of the body. So anything that prevents proper functioning of the cell and tissues will lead to a lack of proper activity of body and other body parts. So yes, if one type of cell or tissues or one cell is not performing properly, then it is going to affect other cells or other body parts or other organs. And that's why cell is a basic unit of organism, because all the activities and all the functions are happening at cell level. So that's why we have learned this question in chapter 5th, that cell is a basic unit of organism and it is a basic functional unit of organism. So when can we say we are healthy? Healthy means it is not just a physical state of our body. Health is a state of being well enough to function well physically, mentally, and socially. So here there are 3 aspects which we need to understand, that physically, mentally, and socially, when we are fit, then only we can say that we are healthy. Physically, we know that what is the meaning of physically fit. Our all organs are functioning well, and our physical fitness is all right, then we are physically fit. But another aspect is a social aspect, that we are mingling with people well, interacting with people without any hesitation, and socially we are doing well. We are well connected with our relatives and friends. That means we are socially also doing well. This is very important aspect of our health, and that is our social well-being. Then third is mental health is also very important. So how much ever our physical fitness is important, that much our mental fitness is also important. That our mental well-being should be there. That we are not mentally depressed or mentally upset when we are physically fit. Even though we are physically fit, but mentally we are not doing well, we are upset, then our fitness is not 100%. So when we are talking about our health, then it is comprising of three aspects: physical, social, and mental. So our health is comprising of all the three aspects, and that is state of being well enough to function well physically, mentally, and socially. We are living in a society, so our personal health matters, and it is also depending upon our society or where we are interacting with other people. Because when we are interacting with other people, it is also important that how healthy are they. If they are infected with some disease, then definitely we are at the risk of exposure of those disease, and we may those disease while we are interacting with those unhealthy people. So health is not just depending upon ourselves, but it is also depending upon how much our community is healthy. It is also depending upon our community, that how much our community is healthy, or our community is completely healthy or not. So let us understand this, that the health of all organisms will depend on their surrounding or on their environment. Why it is important to check surrounding and environment? Personally, maybe you are fit, but within your surrounding or your in your environment, there are so many mosquitoes, or breeding of mosquitoes are happening because of the puddle. So there is a risk that you might get caught up with a malaria or a dengue and so on. So health of all organisms will depend upon their surroundings or their environment. For example, health is at a risk in a cyclone in many ways. So when community is going to affect with a cyclone, then health is at major risk. Human beings live in a society. Our social environment, therefore, is an important factor in our individual health. So, social environment is equally important. That social environment is good or not. That means you are surrounded by positive people or negative people, which is going to affect your mental health. Our physical environment is decided by our social environment. If mentally we are not fit, this sentence meaning is, if mentally we are not fit, then it is going to affect our physical health also. Public cleanliness is important for individual health. Individually, we are doing well, our house is clean, our surrounding is clean, but public cleanliness is also important, because we are going out and at the public places. If it is not clean, then it is eventually going to affect us. Social equality and harmony are therefore necessary for individual health. Now, why we are talking about a social equality? Because when we are talking about social equality, we will feel that we are a part of society and we are one of them. And that's why equality and harmony are very important aspect of individual health and mental health. If the sense of belongingness is not there within the society, then it is definitely going to affect us mentally. And because of that, our health triangle will not work out. So that's why all these aspects are hidden aspects that we haven't given a thought about it, but these are equally important. And what are they? That first thing is our surrounding and our environment. It should be healthy. Then our social environment should be healthy. It should give us positive vibes and positive thoughts. Our physical environment is decided by our social environment. Public cleanliness are equally important, and social equality is also important. So these are the four ways and these are the four aspects that these are going to affect us eventually. Disease and their causes. So when we can say that our body has a disease, what is the meaning of disease? Disease means being uncomfortable, disturbed is when we are not feeling healthy. For example, we have headache or we have common cold. That means it is disturbing our easiness, it is disturbing our ease, and we are feeling uncomfortable, and that is the meaning of disease. When there is a disease, either the functioning of one or more system of body will change for the worse. Now, how it is going to happen? So, disease means functioning of one or more system of body will change for a worse. Change for a worse means it is not functioning well or it is not functioning properly. For example, our head is aching. That means it is not functioning well or it has changed for the worse. Or we have a cold, then it has changed for a worse. So that means there is a disease. These changes give rise to symptoms and signs of disease. So via sign and symptoms, we are going to identify the disease. So these symptoms will give you indication that what kind of disease you have. If you have a runny nose, that means it is a sign that you have common cold. Signs will give a little more definite indication of the presence of particular disease. Why they are saying that little more? Because sometimes it may tell you that you have this disease and sometimes you need to go to doctor and you have to get diagnosed with the doctor's expertise. Why is it so? You have a simple fever, but till the time you will not go to the doctor and get the advice from the doctor that what you have, you will not be sure that what kind of fever you have. Either it is a viral fever or a malaria or a dengue or which kind of fever it is and what is a root cause of a fever. So signs and symptoms are important to note down, but they are giving us only a little definite indication about the disease. Now there are two types of diseases, acute and chronic. Based on how long that disease will be there in our body, we will identify and we have categorized them into acute and chronic disease. Some disease last for only very short period of time. So when disease will be there in our body only short period of time, for example headache, 1 day or 1.5 day, common cold 2-3 days, and we will recover within a week. So these diseases are called acute diseases. We all know from experience that common cold lasts only a few days. Other alignments can last for a long time, even as much as a lifetime. For example, tuberculosis or cancer or something like that. And they are termed as and they are categorized as chronic disease. For example, elephantitis. We are going to learn more about this elephantitis, but here we can give example of tuberculosis or cancer which will last for a long time or sometimes lifelong that disease effect will be there on our body. So based on how long they will persist in our body, we have categorized them into two types of disease, acute and chronic disease. So what are the basic differences between acute and chronic disease? So acute disease, which is over very soon, will not have time to cause major effects on general health. Both the diseases we can differentiate based on how long they'll be there in our body. So acute disease will over very soon, whereas chronic disease will take longer time to cure and leaves effects on our body. That's why they are called chronic disease. Here, for example, cough and cold, they are termed as acute disease, and most of us get better and become well within a week or so, and there are no lasting effects on our health, and that's why they are termed as acute disease. Whereas tuberculosis or cancer, when this kind of diseases will be there in our body, then being ill over for years does make us lose weight and feel tired all the time, and it will leave effects on our body. Acute disease, in acute disease we will feel healthy after recovery, whereas in chronic disease we are likely to have prolonged general poor health if we have chronic disease. There are no long-term effects on our health and body in acute disease, whereas in chronic disease, we will have very drastic long-term effects as compared to acute disease. So, two basic differences are there when we are talking about acute disease and chronic disease. That acute disease, we will get cured within a short period of time, and that's why they will not leave any effect on our body. Whereas chronic disease will be there in our body for longer period of time. That's why they will leave some prolonged effect on our body. So what causes disease? There are four factors and 4 points in which we are going to discuss three basic reasons that these reasons may cause disease. So first is infection. Infection occur from unhygienic lifestyle, impure drinking water, unhealthy food, and there are so many other reasons that we may expose to an infection. But these are three main factors which can or which may give us infection. Unhygienic lifestyle, when we are surrounding with so much of infectious stuff, then it may give us infection. Impure drinking water and unhealthy food can be a main cause or a contributory cause for our infection. Second is unhealthy body. Unhealthy body does not have strong immune system. It might be more likely to have disease when exposed to risk, whereas healthier person would not. Another person is not well nourished and does not get enough food. So lack of good nourishment become a second cause of disease. So about this we are going to discuss more when we are talking about immunity and how our immunity will fight back this microbes who will give us infection. But here we are making a point that if our body is not properly healthy or our immune system is not properly healthy, then there are more and more chances that we will get a disease. And how our body will be having a strong immune system? By having a good nourishment. So if person is not getting a good nourishment, so good nourishment is very important. If person is not getting a good healthy lifestyle, good nourishment, then there are more and more chances that he or she more likely to get affected by disease or infection. Then third point is genetical difference. If by birth some genetical defect will be there, then it is more likely that person will get this kind of disease or infection. For example, they will suffer with a loose motion and this pathogen will attack them when they are exposed to certain pathogens. Then last point is poverty or lack of public services. That means if public services are not hygienic enough, then there are more and more chances that you will get affected by all those diseases and you will get those infections. Poverty or lack of public services can be a third cause of poor health, where people are not getting enough opportunities to which lead to a healthy life. Hygienic situation, hygienic community is also important when we want to lead a healthy life, because it's not only restrict to our own personal health. When we are going out, it also matters that our community should be healthy. Then only we will get less infection, we will get less diseases. If we are healthy but our community is not healthy, our society is not healthy, or our surrounding is not properly clean, then there are more and more chances that we will likely to get infections and we will likely to get diseases. All disease will have immediate cause and contributory cause. So for any disease, there will be an immediate cause and there will be a contributory cause. Immediate cause means if you had some unhealthy food, it had given you vomiting and diarrhea. So that will be an immediate cause. But dirty water or unhygienic lifestyle or unhygienic surrounding will be a contributory cause to that infection. So all disease will have immediate cause and contributory cause. Most diseases have many causes rather than one single cause. So it is not specific that because of any one particular thing you got that disease. There can be many causes, there can be many reasons, and the reasons will be varied as per the situation, like it can be immediate cause or there will be certain contributory causes. Now diseases can be infectious or diseases can be non-infectious. So what are the basic difference between these two type of diseases? So infectious disease and non-infectious disease. Disease where microbes are the immediate cause are called infectious disease. And what about non-infectious disease? The disease that are not caused by infectious agent are called non-infectious disease. So infectious disease, this is because the microbes can spread in the community and the disease they cause will spread with them. This is because the microbes can spread in the community and that is how they will spread. And the person who will stand next to the person who is sneezing will likely to catch the same cold because that person got infected with those viruses or the bacteria. So that is how infectious disease will spread throughout the community. Whereas non-infectious disease, their causes will vary, but they are not external causes like microbes that can spread in the community. Instead, these are mostly internal non-infectious causes. These infections are spread through viruses, bacteria, fungi, single-celled protozoans. So these pathogens, these viruses, bacteria and fungi are the cause and they are causing the infectious disease. So when some other person, one other healthy person will come in contact with these same viruses and bacteria, they will likely to catch this infection. Now for non-infectious disease, for example, cancer. Cancers are caused by genetic abnormalities. High blood pressure can caused by excessive weight and lack of exercise. Diabetes, all these are the disease which are non-infectious disease because their causes are different. Their causes are not microbes. They will come due to some genetical or hereditary measures and they will come due to your unhealthy lifestyle. They are not in your body because of some microbial infection. So they are called non-infectious disease. They will not spread into the community through these microbes. They will come to your body because of unhealthy lifestyle or some hereditary reason. So they are non-infectious disease. Where are infectious disease like cold, viral fever and so on, which are spread through all these microbes. And that's why they are called infectious disease, because they have their own roots, they have their own paths by which they will spread through the entire community. So the disease which will happen through the microbes, they are infectious disease, and the disease which will not spread through microbes, they are called non-infectious disease. So as we discussed, infectious disease will give us infection, and the agents are viruses, bacteria, fungi and so many more microbes like this. So some of them are viruses, some are bacteria, some are fungi and some are single cell animals or protozoans, or the microbes which are belong to protozoan family. Some diseases are also caused by multicellular organisms such as worms of different kinds. Now, virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoan microbes and worms will give us specific type of disease. So this is a table of that, and it will tell us that, so if we are having a common cold, then the microbes responsible for that are viruses. Similarly, influenza, dengue fever and for HIV AIDS, viruses are the cause for these diseases or for these infections. Bacteria will cause us typhoid, fever, cholera, tuberculosis and anthrax. Different kinds of fungi will give us common skin infections. Protozoan families microbes will give us malaria and kala azar. Whereas worms will give us elephantitis, intestinal worm infections. So these are the agents: viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoan families, microbes and worms. These are the agents and they are giving us these diseases. The categories of agents are important to know, as it is one of the important factor in deciding what kind of treatment to use. Now, if we have common cold or if we have a typhoid, then the mode of treatment will differ, because common cold we got it through viruses, whereas typhoid fever we got it through bacterial infection. So as these agents will vary, our mode of treatment will also vary. That's why it is very important to know that which kind of agents are there behind our infectious disease to decide the mode of treatment. Now here we are going to discuss what is the basic difference between viruses and bacteria. Many times we will feel that we will have a bacterial infection and we will take antibiotic, but the infection will persist and this medicine will not benefit us, or this medicine will not cure us, because we may have viral infection. So the drug or the medicine which we are taking for bacterial infection will not work on viruses. Why is it so? Let us see the difference between them. So all viruses live inside host cell, whereas bacteria rarely do. Now, how the viruses will work? For example, this is our cell. As the viruses are come in contact with our cell, they will get inside our cell and they will use our cell. Here this is a virus and they will use our cell. This is a healthy cell. This is a healthy cell, and this cell has an infection of the virus. Once the virus will come inside, it will use all the metabolic process of our cell. It will use all the material of our cell to multiply themselves like this. They will multiply once they will come into our cell. So the process what they are using, or the material, what they are using, everything belongs to us, or we can say that they are using our body system to multiply themselves because they are using our cell as a host cell. Whereas bacteria, they have their own cell, and suppose if this is our cell, then bacterial cell will be clearly different compared to us. So as you can see, these are varieties of bacterial cell, whereas this is our cell. So bacterial cells are clearly different. They will not use our cell as a host cell. They are not using our body system, our mechanism for their multiplication. Whereas viruses do not have their own cell wall, once they will enter into our cell, they are using our body system, our mechanism, our cell to multiply. So once they will multiply, their cell structure are exactly same like ours. So it is very difficult to identify for our body that whether that this cell got infection of the virus or not. So this is the basic difference of the bacterial infection and viral infection. Now let us get into the detail and understand the theory. All viruses live inside host cell, whereas bacteria very rarely do. Because bacteria, mostly all the bacteria are having their own cell. Viruses, bacteria and fungi multiply very quickly while worms multiply very slowly in comparison because worms are multicellular, whereas viruses, bacteria and fungi are single cell creature. Taxonomically, all bacteria are closely related to each other. So as we have seen, viruses and bacteria are different. So many important life processes are similar in bacteria group, but not within virus. As a result, drug that block one of this life process in one member of group is likely to be effective against many other members of the group because this bacteria are following certain life process. They will multiply in certain pathways or some metabolic processes are similar and that will be similar among them. So when we are attacking them on those metabolic process, their multiplication will be stopped or we can harm them as we know the path that they are using. But the same drug will not work against the microbe belonging to a different group. But this is only possible when the group will be same. Because within the same group, they are following the same processes. So if they are belong to same group, then same drug will work on them. But if group will differ, then same drug will not work on that because their metabolic process or their pathways will differ. Now let us understand with this example that action of antibiotic drug. How antibiotic drug will affect us or will cure us from bacterial infection. So they commonly block biochemical pathways. So they are attacking on biochemical pathways of bacteria. So they are attacking on bacterial biochemical pathway. How? Many bacteria, for example, make cell wall to protect themselves. The antibiotic penicillin block the bacterial process that build the cell wall. As a result, growing bacteria becomes unable to make a cell wall and die easily. So this penicillin is an antibiotic drug which we are using to cure bacterial infection. So how this will work? It will break the cell wall of the bacteria. So bacteria will not be able to make a cell wall and eventually they will die. So they will stop multiplying so that we can control the infection. And why this penicillin will not affect us? Because human cell don't make cell wall. So penicillin cannot have such effect on us. Yes, we do feel some of the side effect like gastric or some acidity or something like that. But They will not affect us, they will not harm us at cell level. They are only attacking bacteria when we are taking as medicine. Penicillin will have this effect on any bacteria that use such processes of making cell wall. Similarly, many antibiotics work against many species of bacteria rather than simply working against one. So all the bacteria who all are making cell wall, upon them we can take penicillin and we can cure our infection. But viruses are not following this particular pathway. Viruses do not use this pathway at all. So even if we will take any of the antibiotic or penicillin, it will not cure our infection because they are not making any cell wall. So even though we are taking a medicine, our infection will not go. So that is the reason why antibiotics do not work against viral infection. Now our next topic is, how do infectious diseases spread? We know that the different types of agents, viruses, bacteria, fungi, they are giving us this infectious disease. But how they are spreading throughout the community? So many microbial agents can commonly move from an affected person to someone else in a variety of ways. So it will move from affected person to other person who is healthy. But there are different ways and it is depending upon which mode they are accepting to spread into a community. In other words, they can be communicated and so are called communicable diseases. They are also known as communicated. So this is another name of infectious disease, that is communicated disease or communicable disease, because they will easily spread throughout the community from affected person to healthy person. Now there are three types of infectious disease. First, airborne diseases, second, waterborne diseases, and third, sexually transmitted disease. So airborne disease, such disease causing microbes can spread through the air. This occurs through a little droplet thrown out by an infected person who sneezes or cough. When people are sneezing, it is likely that some of the droplets will spread into a surrounding or into the air. Now once those droplets come in a contact with healthy person, and once that healthy person will inhale that infectious air, it is very likely that that person will affect with that disease, or that person may likely to catch that infection. And this airborne diseases are common cold, pneumonia and tuberculosis. Waterborne diseases, this disease which are spreading through water are known as waterborne diseases. This occur if the excreta of someone suffering from infectious gut disease get mixed with drinking water used by people living nearby. So, example of such disease is cholera. The cholera causing microbes will enter a healthy person through a water they drink and cause disease in them. Such diseases are much more likely to spread in the absence of safe supplies of drinking water. So when unhygienic water or impure water person will drink, they may catch a waterborne disease, for example cholera. Now sexually transmitted disease, because in this mode two people will be in intimate contact with each other. So the sexual act is one of the closest physical contact two people can have with each other. There are microbial infections such as syphilis or AIDS that are transmitted by sexual contact. So sexually transmitted diseases are syphilis or HIV/AIDS. The virus causing AIDS can also spread through blood to blood contact. with infected people or from an infected mother to her baby during pregnancy or through breastfeeding. These are the mode by which the HIV/AIDS will spread into the community. First, it is a sexually transmitted disease. Second, through blood to blood contact, it will transfer. Or if mother has HIV/AIDS and baby will likely to get HIV/AIDS by birth or through breastfeeding. So these are the possible ways by which infectious disease will spread into the community. Now, what are the vectors? What is the meaning of vector? Many diseases can be transmitted by other animals. So these animals carry the infecting agents from a sick person to another potential host. These animals are thus the intermediary and are called vectors. So one person who has an infection that will transmit through an animal to another healthy person. So this animal will become a vector, that this animal has transmitted this disease from infectious person to a healthy person. So this animal has become a vector here. For example, mosquito. So the female need highly nutritious food in the form of blood in order to be able to lay mature eggs. Mosquitoes' life cycle is very less, and that too male mosquitoes do not bite us. Only female mosquitoes will bite us, and once they will reach at mature age, as per their life cycle, they need to lay mature eggs, and for that they need lots and lots of blood. For that they will bite human or animal, and they will bite warm-blooded animal, and from them they will suck the blood, and by doing so they are transmitting the disease. So mosquitoes feed on many warm-blooded animals including us, and this way they can transfer diseases from person to person. For example, dengue. They are transferring this disease from person who has dengue fever, and from there this mosquito is transferring infection to a healthy person through their saliva while they are sucking the blood from infectious person. So these are called vectors. So the animals who are transferring disease from one infectious person to a healthy person, those animals are known as vector. Now our next topic is organ specific and tissue specific manifestation. Now what is the meaning of manifestation? Manifestation means because of that disease, which organ is likely to be affected or where we can see the effect of that disease. For example, common cold. So it is likely that when we will get a common cold, we will have a runny nose or blocked nose. So our nose is being affected by common cold. So organ specific or tissue specific manifestation means which organ or which tissue will get affected by the possible microbial infection. So different species of microbes infect different parts of body, and it is depending upon their point of entry. Point of entry means how they are entering into our body. So it is very likely that from where they are entering into our body, they will make that organ their home and they will affect that organ maximum. So here there are some of the examples. So here point of entry, in which organ it will likely to go, where it will go, and which kind of disease it will cause. So when the point of entry is nose, it will from nose with the air it will likely to go to lung and it will cause tuberculosis. When the point of entry is mouth, it will go to gut. Along with the food, water, it will go to gut lining, and so this bacteria will cause us typhoid. So this typhoid causing bacteria will go to gut lining and their point of entry will be mouth. Viruses will go to liver and they will cause us jaundice. And virus point of entry will also be mouth. So they will go to liver and they will cause us jaundice. Now when point of entry is sexual organ, they will go to lymph nodes or from there they will spread to entire body, and this kind of viruses will cause us HIV/AIDS. Mosquito bite, directly it will get mixed with the blood, it will go to liver and then it will affect to red blood cell, and disease they are causing is malaria. Through mosquito bite, we will also get Japanese encephalitis or brain fever, and it is likely that they will affect our brain. So, as the microbes will vary, as their point of entry will vary, there are different signs, there are different symptoms that they will show us, they will affect different types of organ and they will cause us different types of disease. So it also means that when viruses or bacteria or any microbes are entering from one particular organ, they will make one organ affected by their infection, and due to that specific symptoms will be able to see in infected person's body. So these signs and symptoms will tell us that which kind of infection will be there or which kind of infection will likely to be there in patient's body. So the signs and symptoms of disease will thus depend on the tissue or organ which microbe target. So microbial agent or microbial infection will happen in one specific organ and they will target one specific organ. For example, if lung is being targeted, then the possible symptoms are cough and breathlessness. If liver is being targeted, possible symptom or the disease will be jaundice. If brain is being targeted, then it can be headaches, vomiting, fits or unconsciousness. We can imagine what the symptoms and signs of an infection will be if we know the target tissue or organ is and the functions that are carried out by this tissue or organ. So when any particular tissue or organ is being targeted, that tissue or organ will tell us or show us some symptoms, and by that we can diagnose the disease or possible cause of infection. How will the body's immune system will work? Earlier we have seen one point that if our immune system is strong, then it is very less likely that some of the minor diseases we will not catch very frequently because our immune system is strong. So how our body's immune system will work, that we are understanding now. The body's immune system is activated in response to infection. So when will body identify that the infection is there into the body, then our immune system will be activated. An active immune system recruits many cells to affect tissue to kill off the disease causing microbes. So our cells, they will attack this viruses or bacteria and they will control the infection. This recruitment process is called inflammation. So once our immune system will get activated, they will attack these microbes, they will attack this infection and they will control the microbial infection. As a part of this process, there are local effects such as swelling and pain and general effects such as fever. So that is how our body's immune system will work once they will get to know that some of the infectious microbes have already been entered into the body. Now one special disease we are discussing is that HIV/AIDS. Now we are going to discuss here what will happen to immune system when we will have HIV/AIDS viral infection. So the first point is the tissue specific of the infection leads to very general seeming effect. What is the meaning of very general seeming effect? Very general seeming effect means very minor symptoms or minor disease symptoms person will be able to see in his body when he or she will have HIV/AIDS infection. In HIV infection, the virus goes to immune system and damage its function. Now it is directly attacking to immune system and damages immune system function, so immune system will not work properly. Thus, many of the effects of HIV/AIDS are because of the body can no longer fight off many minor infections that we face every day. For example, common cold, some simple infection, stomach infection or diarrhea or vomiting sensation or something like that. These symptoms are belongs to very minor diseases. And why is it so? Because our body's immune system is not working properly. So our body's immune system will not fight back against these simple diseases, and because of that, in a body we will be able to see the general seeming effect of the diseases. Instead, every small cold can become pneumonia. Similarly, a minor gut infection can produce major diarrhea with blood loss. So simple diseases will become major because the immune system's function is not proper. So minor disease will become major in HIV/AIDS infection. Ultimately, it is these other infections that kill people suffering from HIV/AIDS. So HIV/AIDS viral infection is directly targeting our immune system. And because of that, the immune system is not working properly. The minor disease will become major and it will kill a person. Now, when we are talking about disease, the number of microbial count in our body is also important. If number of microbes are less, then it will be an easy task for our immune system to kill all the microbes. But even if the microbial infection is very simple, very minor, but microbes are in major amount or the microbial count is very high, then it will be difficult for our immune system to tackle that infection. The severity of disease manifestation depends on the number of microbes in the body. So, number of microbes is one of the important factor when we are talking about how to cure that disease. If the number of microbes is very small, the disease manifestation may be minor or unnoticed. So, microbial count is small, then manifestation will be minor or unnoticed. But if the number of the same microbes are large, then the disease can be severe enough to be life-threatening, and you will be see effects at large scale. The immune system is a major factor that determines the number of microbes surviving in the body. So if your immune system is strong, then immune system will be able to handle the large amount of microbial count. But if your immune system is not functioning well, is not healthy enough, is not strong enough, then it requires some additional support like medicine from outside, which will help immune system to tackle that infection or disease. So after understanding about the diseases, now let us focus on the treatment part. So if we have certain kind of microbial infection or some other infection, then what is the mode of the treatment? What should be the mode of treatment, and what principles we are following when we are looking for a treatment? So there are two ways to treat an infectious disease. So this is only for the infectious disease that we are talking about. Infectious disease or the disease which are happening through microbes, viruses, bacteria, fungi, and so on. So those kind of diseases treatment mode we are discussing here. So first thing is reduce the effects of disease and to kill the cause of disease. Reduce the effect of disease means symptomatic relief we are talking about here, and to kill the cause of disease, that means we are controlling the microbial count. For the first, we can provide treatment that will reduce the symptoms. So symptomatic reliefs we will get through medicine. For example, if we have a common cold, we have a runny nose, we will take a medicine and it will stop the runny nose. And that is how the symptomatic relief will work, and it will cure the symptom. It will only cure the symptom. It will not taking care of microbial count, or they are not working on the microbes. They are only curing the symptoms. The symptoms are usually because of inflammation. Symptoms directed treatment will not make the infecting microbes go away. This is very important. Symptom directed treatment will not make the infecting microbe go away, and the disease will not be cured. For that, we need to be able to kill off the microbes. So here there are two kinds of treatment. First treatment is we are taking care of our symptoms, because that will make us very uncomfortable, that if we have a disturbed stomach, then stomach will ache for a longer period of time. So we will take a symptomatic relief medicine. If we have a runny nose because of common cold, then we will take a medicine which will block this runniness of the nose, and we will feel a temporary relief from a disease. But this is not a complete cure of a disease. These are called symptomatic relief. So we have to take care of microbial infection and microbial count. So another type of medicine will take care of microbial count. They will kill these microbes and they will cure our infection. One will give you immediate relief, temporary relief, and other medicine will cure your infection and it will give you permanent relief. So this both the type of medicines and both the type of treatments are necessary when we have infectious disease. Now, symptomatic reliefs, we know that how to cure our symptoms, but here we are talking about the medicine which will take care of the microbial count and which will kill the microbes. So how do we kill the microbes? One way is to use medicine that will kill the microbes. We can classify microbes into categories like virus, bacteria, fungi, and protozoa. Earlier we have discussed that as the microbes will vary, their mode of treatment will also vary, because we are targeting on their biochemical pathways, and based on that our medicine will also vary. Each of this group of organisms will have some essential biochemical life process which is peculiar to that group and not shared with any other group. This processes may be pathways for synthesis of new substance or respiration. So based on this biochemical pathways, they will multiply, they will make new substance, and they will stay alive in our body. Once we are targeting this biochemical life process, they'll no longer be able to multiply or survive in our body. So in turn, we are killing them. In turn, we are reducing their count. So these pathways will not be used by us either. So in between this group, the medicine will not be common. Medicine will work for any one particular group. As the group will change, medicine will change, microbial organism will change, the medicine will change. For example, our cell may make new substance by mechanism different from that used by bacteria. If we use the drug that blocks the bacterial synthesis pathway without affecting our own, this is what is achieved by antibiotics. We have discussed this thoroughly when we have discussed how antibiotics is working. Another example is drug that kill protozoa which causes malaria. So all this antibiotic drug or the drug which is controlling or killing microbes are working on the same principle, that they are targeting their biochemical pathway, and so that they'll no longer be able to multiply or survive in our body. In turn, their count will become lower and our immune system will be able to handle that infection. So here we are discussing again that why is making antiviral medicine harder. So earlier we have discussed that suppose this is our cell and this is a virus. When virus is coming in contact with our cell, virus will make our cell a host and it will enter into our cell. This virus will use our cell to multiply and this virus is going to use our biochemical pathway and our cell to multiply. So as we have discussed earlier that how bacteria are using different biochemical pathways and different processes to manufacturing some substances, here viruses are using our biochemical pathways and our substances to multiply themselves. So for our immune system, it is very difficult to identify that whether this cell is belong to our body or it is belong to virus, because whatever biochemical pathway or whatever materials they are using, they are identical to our body processes because they are belongs to us. So it is difficult for our immune system to identify the infected cell and healthy cell. First point is viruses have few biochemical mechanism of their own, not much and not very much differentiate or not very much different from our cell because they are using our metabolic process. They enter into our cell and use our cell metabolic and machinery for their life process. This means that there are relatively few virus specific target to aim at. So because of these targets are very less, it is difficult to make antiviral medicine. Majority of the processes what they are following or using are ours only. Despite this limitation, there are now effective antiviral drugs, for example, drugs that keep HIV infection under control. So scientists have succeeded and they are making antiviral drug, but it is lot more harder compared to making antibiotic drug. We have very few biochemical pathways which we can target, we can aim, or we can kill the virus and keep their count low. So when we are talking about curing a disease, one of the important aspect is prevention. For example, in a COVID pandemic, we were continuously sanitizing our hand and we were wearing a mask. So those were the preventive measure. It is the primary measure that you should take before you are catching any infectious disease. So prevention is always better than cure. Why do we need to prevent disease? The person's body functions are damaged and may never recover completely in some of the disease, so prevention is better. The treatment will take time, which means that someone is suffering from a disease is likely to be bedridden for some time, or if we can give a proper treatment. The person suffering from an infectious disease can serve as a source from where the infection may spread to other people, family members, and to the community. So because of these three major reasons, we need to prevent the diseases. How can we prevent the disease? There are two ways to prevent the disease. First is via general ways and second via specific ways. General ways means living healthy lifestyle, eating healthy food and drinking safe pure water. Specific ways means remove possibilities of mosquito breeding, vaccination, or if the viral infection is spreading in a community, use mask, sanitize your hands frequently, or taking proper hygienic care of your body and your surrounding. So these are the general ways and these are the specific ways. Specific ways means we are working towards that particular disease. For example, if dengue is spreading in a community, then we are taking care of the puddles, that there should be no puddles in a community so that the breeding possibilities of the mosquitoes will be nullified. We will apply mosquito repellent cream and so on. So when you are taking prevention for one specific disease, then it is called a specific ways. When you are taking a general precautionary measure, then they are called general ways. Second is the availability of proper and sufficient food for healthy and strong immune system. This point is very important when we are talking about infectious disease or any hereditary disease. Healthy and disciplined lifestyle will give you strong and immune system, and this strong immune system will keeps you healthy from any minor diseases. So these are some of the preventive measures by which we can prevent the diseases. Now, when we are talking about strong immune system, then what is the need of strong immune system? The immune system of our body is normally fighting off microbes. We have cells that specialize in killing infecting microbes. These cells go into action each time infecting microbes enter into the body. So when any minor infection will be there, we will not even get any symptom. We will not get to know that we got an infection or we got some microbes into our body. Our immune system will take care of that and we will get rid of it. So that is the benefit of strong immune system. If they are successful, we do not actually come down with any disease. So if our immune system is strong and if our immune system will be successful in killing those infectious bacteria, then we will not get any kind of disease. The immune cells manage to kill off the infection long before it assumes major proportion. If the number of infecting microbes is controlled, the manifestation of disease will be minor. In other words, becoming exposed to or infected with an infectious microbe does not necessarily mean developing noticeable disease. So, with small microbial count and with stronger immune system, majority of the diseases will go unnoticeable. So this is the main benefit and advantage of strong immune system. So one way of looking at severe infection disease is that represents a lack of success of the immune system. So frequently if you are catching cold or frequently if you are having some microbial infection, then you need to work on your strong immune system. So the functioning of the immune system, like any other system in our body, will not be good if proper and sufficient nourishment and food is not available. So how to make our immune system strong? So first point is with sufficient and balanced nutrition. Therefore, the second basic principle of prevention of infectious disease is the availability of proper and sufficient food for everyone. When we are talking about prevention, so till now we have discussed the three pathways of the prevention. First is via medicine. In medicine, we have talked about symptomatic relief medicine and killing microbial infection, the medicine which will kill the microbial infection. So two kind of medicine we have discussed. Second, we have discussed that prevention is better than cure, or leading a healthy life, or having a sufficient nutritious food and strong immune system will be a better prevention against all the infection. So second is our strong immune system will save us from any kind of microbial infection. And third one is vaccination. So what is a vaccine? And vaccination will safeguard us against this microbial infection. So having the disease once or taking vaccine for specific disease can prevent subsequent attack of the same disease. This happens because when the immune system first sees an infectious microbe, it responds against it and then remembers it specifically. So this is the principle on which vaccination will work. That once you will have, for example, infection of chickenpox, then for lifelong you will not have infection of chickenpox. Why? Because your immune system will remember the response, or your immune system will remember that how to kill or control this specific kind of microbial infection. So next time when you will expose to this kind of infection, it will be very, very minor, or your immune system will take up successfully and it will go unnoticed. You will not even feel that you have exposed to those or that particular disease. So based on this, all the vaccine will work. So the next time that particular microbe or its close relative enters the body, the immune system responds with a greater vigor. This eliminates the infection even more quickly than the first time around. This is the basis of principle of immunization. On this, all the vaccine will work. We can trigger the immune system into developing a memory of particular infection by injecting something that mimics the microbe we want to vaccinate against into the body. So a part of a virus or a dead virus or something which belongs to that virus, which will mimic the body type of virus, we will inject into a person's body. Our immune system will work toward that, and our immune system will store that response, that in future if this kind of infection will come to the body, how to respond that. And after that, in future, we will no longer be affected by that particular treatment. This does not actually cause the disease, but this would prevent any subsequent exposure to infecting microbe from turning into an actual disease. So every time, whenever we will get exposed to the same kind of disease, our immune system will remember these microbes and they will act towards that. So this was all about chapter 13. So if you have any question regarding this chapter, please comment down below. Do write us that how do you like this video? Has this video cleared your doubts or not? Don't forget to subscribe, learn yourself. I'll see you in next video. Till then, keep learning, keep sharing, and be safe.